So, dear ones, as we begin, we invite you, yes, just take a few moments and really pull your energy and your awareness into this now moment. Just take a couple of moments before you sort of relax into that eyes closed meditative state to actually keep your eyes open and look around. Use that physical sense to really ground into your now moment. Don't get into that sort of psychological editorializing. So starting to be like, oh, well, this room's messy and I must be a terrible person. My room is messy, or whatever it is. Don't get into that sort of psychological chat about what you're looking at, but just really take it in. Sort of drink in the now moment, fully receive the now moment using that anchoring physical sense. Give yourself permission to fully be here now. Take in what is manifest, what is physicalized. Because the less you are resisting your now moment, the more of everything else that you are inviting with the anchoring in the heart, or even with your intentions that you're more deliberately creating, the more that can drop in and arrive into this now moment. You've got to greet what you inviting. You wouldn't invite a guest over and then not show up to the front door to say hello when they arrived at your house, at your place, at your apartment. So many of you are wanting more, inviting more, calling in more, but by not being fully anchored in your now moment, you're not showing up to greet it, to be there for it, to experience it. You're putting out a lot of phone calls. You're saying, hey, come on over, abundance, come on over, well-being, come on over. Physical rejuvenation, come on over, joyful creation. Come on over, new job. Come on over, inspiration. But then you're not there at the door to greet your guests you are inviting. Being in the now moment is truly a non-psychological state. It's a real presence to what you are experiencing around you. And you may have that presence through observation like this, just taking it in with your eyes, with your ears, with your senses. You may have that presence through being really engaged in some activity that you are loving or you are focused on. And you might even be planning something in the future. You might be really focused on something that you're planning in the future, like you're going to go on a trip, and so you're engaged in the planning of that trip. So your mind is thinking about the future, but you are not in a psychological state. You're not worrying about the trip. You're not deciding whether you're worthy enough to go on the trip, whether you're allowed to go on the trip, whether you could afford to go on the trip. You're just booking the trip. But if you're analyzing or running a commentary on your experience from a psychological state, you're not necessarily in that now moment. You may be being present to your emotion. So what does it mean to then be in the now moment with what you're feeling and experiencing? Yes, you can be present to it. If you're feeling sad, be present to it. Allow the sadness to move through you. But don't get into that psychological judgment. I am good or bad for crying. I'm weak or strong. I should or shouldn't be doing this. You're just allowing that to happen. Being present to a feeling. But remembering that it's all just energy. So keep looking around and really relax your body as well as you're doing this present awareness. Take the tension out of your body is another way to receive this now moment. Take that subtle resistance, that subtle pressing or resisting against what is around you. And allow yourself to fully be the experience that you're having. And it may not be your favorite experience. It may not be your ultimate desired experience. But if you're resisting it, it's like being in the house and you've invited all the guests of abundance and joy and happiness over, and you're keeping that door shut. So your internal experience inside the house isn't necessarily going to increase in that vibrational range that you're desiring, because that little bit of resistance is just keeping the door closed to new energy moving in, to the guests that you've invited over, coming in. So you're just maintaining the status quo of your creation with that tension, with that resistance, with that analysis, with that judgment. So yes, even though what's going on in the room of your creation, or the party of your creation, might feel a little drab right now, soften into it. Allow the guests to. And some of you experience a struggle with this because of the nervous system activation, and even the anticipation of these guests arriving can rev up your nervous system, because your nervous system doesn't know all the guests who are coming over. It may not know infinite abundance very well. It may not know unconditional love. So it's got some pre-party nerves, and it's sort of keeping that door closed. So this again is where you have to really step in and signal through that relaxation in your body, through consciously relaxing in your body, consciously doing those micro releases of tension wherever you feel resistance, doing the love and acceptance that softens that resistant egoic line in the body or in the psychological state, in order to let your nervous system know, hey, it's okay. We can open up this door. We've been inviting these guests. I know you don't know them yet, but we've been inviting these guests for a long time. And if you can just relax, we can let them in, and you'll see that it's a better party with these guests inside our creative experience rather than being held at bay. And even if you feel frustrated that your body or that your nervous system may be creating some of the resistance, that's okay. You just use that love and acceptance and keep consciously relaxing it. Love and accept the part of you that is physically still on guard. Keep sending those biological signals. Hey, it's safe, it's okay to relax. And even if you have some big storyline that has a lot of charge and a lot of high stakes about it, maybe something's going on with your work or with an important relationship, and it feels pretty life and death. Again, come into the now moment, remind yourself that even that is going to be resolved by allowing more of the guests that you are inviting to come in to participate in the creative party of your life. Be a good host, relax, and be welcoming. Because there's a lot of consciousness that wants to be your friend, allies, your supporters. That want to move in, that want to come into the party. Drop into your heart, and if you want, you can close your eyes and take a few moments to get anchored in the heart as well. Continuing to release the tension in the body. want to remind you that outside that doorway of that singular egoic identity, because that's what you're sort of doing when you keep that resistance. You're maintaining the restriction of the singular egoic identity. You're holding out massive forces of support, and we liked to talk to you about this idea of flicking on the switch, thinking about all of the consciousness that is, quote unquote, beyond you, beyond your singular egoic identity, that is also you in the all consciousness framework. And flicking on that switch, that all of that energy is actually on your side. Working with you and for you. Is a singular egoic identity sees itself in the framework of the illusion of separation, the illusion that creates the sense of other, of not me, them, him, her, they, and polarity, good and bad, right and wrong, true and false. And it creates that dynamic, powerful dynamic of resistance. So the other is judged bad, the other is judged wrong, the other is judged false. And that keeps all of that consciousness at bay and unavailable. It keeps that door shut. It keeps that energy in the framework of enemies, bad guys. And even that projection can move up into the metaphysical realm, the energetic realm, multidimensional realm. So not only are there bad guys who are your neighbors, your politicians, your bosses, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your partners, at various moments in time. Then that projection of the bad guys moves into this energetic realm, into these ideas of dark forces, evil entities, evil beings. And when you've given that polarity separation framework to these energies that operate in a space where they experience less limitation, now you've created a very powerful enemy. But it is all mind projection into the multi-dimensional realm. And you can generate those storylines just in the same way as you can generate a bad boss or a violent boyfriend or girlfriend. And it can feel very real, but it is still within the creative framework of your mind. And when we talk about the whole world is on your side, working with me and for me, we want to expand that out to all of consciousness is on my side, working with me and for me. And as we say this, your mind may say, well, but there is definitely a bad guy at work who's working against me. Yes, in your creative framework, they may well be. But you have the creative power to choose a different framework. And this is the 5D grid framework. To come into the heart, into the place of creative expression that is beyond these illusions of polarity and separation, of the mind's judgments, and that generate from the unified field. And there are many of you, dear ones, who started to call in a lot more frequency, a lot more kind of expanded consciousness or volume of energy, but you directed this through your minds instead of being anchored in the heart center. And life in the material 3D plane or in the metaphysical plane can get very challenging, even freaky, when you are pulling in high volume of energy, when you are accessing a lot of your expanded consciousness, but you're directing it through the filters of the egoic mind. Because that movie, the more you project energy into that, the more contrasting the experience will be. And then your mind has you caught up in those storylines. And then your mind says, wow, well, what's the point of all this spiritual awakening when my life is just getting worse and there's all this freaky stuff happening? Because you must be seated in the heart. You must be seated in the eye of the storm. So if you've got a big storyline that has any good guys and bad guys in it, you are in your mind's dear one. And your mind can be very defended around that and say, yes, well, I can be a being of love, but I definitely can't be a being of love about fill in the blank of who your villain is. Because if I love that villain, then I will become weak and I will be susceptible to being destroyed by that villain. You are in your minds, and the show is only going to get weirder and harder and more challenging for you if you stay there. And there's a lot of information out there on all levels, from the 3D through the spiritual realm, that will reinforce these storylines when you are in your minds. Because your mind will generate the continual reinforcing storyline to back up its position that there are bad guys out there. And all the work you have been doing to awaken, to evolve, to expand in your consciousness will be filled with a feeling of futility. But it's all coming from the mind filters, dear ones. And we're getting rather emphatic with you now because the energies are speeding up. They're speeding up. They're getting stronger. More and more is coming in. You're calling, you're inviting all the guests. You're saying, come on, abundance. Come on, infinite wisdom. Come on, love. Come on, joy. Come on, frequencies. Come on, expansion. But you've got the fly screen door of polarity and mind still in the way. And all of this stuff is rattling and shaking. Anchor in your heart, dear one. Plug in the right movie projector. If you're struggling, if you're suffering, you're in your mind. If you're analyzing, if you're trying to figure it out, why am I still suffering? Because you're in your minds, dear ones. It's that simple. Why am I still being victimized? Why is there a feeling of dark forces and dark energy? Because you're in your minds. And the energies are speeding up, dear ones. It's getting faster and faster. So you're really at these points of grand decision. What reality do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a multidimensional reality generated from the mind with continually amplifying illusions of separation, polarity, and the survival consciousness that is part of the mind projected into that realm? Or do you want to let go of the controlling mind and anchor into your heart and surrender and welcome the guests of your heart-centered creative reality to move in, to come on in, to illuminate your life experience from a place of union, from a place of oneness, from a place of energy expanding and higher frequencies moving in without the resistance of the mind. Because we are here to support you experiencing. And we are here to support you holding that heart field for the rest of your creative experience. Now, the people who are inhabiting this planet who don't even have anything close to this information that you do, dear ones, you are at the leading edge. You're at the leading edge of where the most awareness of what is going on energetically is happening. And if you can't get into your heart and anchor there and hold that fear, hold that resonance, hold that love, that unconditional love, that non-polarity, non-separation, non-oppositional feel, so others can cotton on to what is happening. How are you inviting this evolutionary shift to happen on your planet? You're the ones who are on this call, listening, on this journey. And you've got to surrender your minds, dear ones, and get into the heart. Let the parties be vigilant. Am I in my mind? Because I'm a way shower. I'm not a way shower to show people how to project their mind into the multidimensional field so it can get weirder and more disturbing. I'm a way shower to anchor in the heart and send out that frequency and say, hey, y'all, yes, it's getting pretty weird on the planet here. Come into your hearts. Trust. Because, dear ones, already in this moment, if you're in your heart, you can be activating the whole world is on my side, working with me and for me. And all of consciousness is on my side, working with me and for everybody. That's the signal when you're in your heart. That's the emanation when you're in your heart. And it's actually pretty simple, but those stubborn minds of yours want to keep in control of this process. And the energy is speeding up. And your mind will find plenty of evidence that it's right about the bad guys and the the oppositional forces and the negativity if you stay in your mind. And the more evidence you see, the more your minds will go chasing down rabbit holes, gathering more data about all the negativity out there, about all the oppositional forces, all the bad guys. And you can stay in that, and you can stay in that, and you can let it get more and more amplified until finally it cracks. Or you can just say, hey, I've been listening to the Circle of Light. And they just say, I've just got to get into my heart. You can just do that as well, dear ones. You can just do that as well. Right now, and in every moment. Because you don't have to go through another crack, another experience of amplifying negativity to learn the lesson that you've got to get out of your minds. You can just take it from us. Being anchored in the heart all of the time, not just occasionally, not just when you are thinking, oh, it's time to meditate, but really anchored in there all of the time. Just like a plug. The movie can't play unless the projector is plugged. The heart blueprint can't illuminate, it can't amplify unless the heart projector is plugged in. So if you're not experiencing it, you are also still in your mind. If you're not experiencing a wonderful creation, you're still too much in your mind. And we're not talking about the mind as a tool, the mind that executes the details of the reality that's coming forward for you. We're not talking about the mind as a tool that puts out the appetizers on the party table because it knows a party's coming. We're talking about the psychological. Coming to your heart still. And we're being a little emphatic because of these increasing energies, dear ones. We've been sharing the heart centering with you for quite a while. It's always been there, but we've been emphasizing this over the last couple of years in your Earth framework because of the increasing in energy. There was a little bit more room, a little more wiggle room before because of slower movement of energy, the less volume of energy that you're embodying, that you're inviting, that you're welcoming in. The party of your heart. But in case you haven't noticed, there's been some strangeness on your planet because of the attachment to remaining seated in the mind. anchor in your hearts. Anchor in your heart. Say it to yourself. Whatever I do this week, primary focus will be to remind myself to be anchored in my heart. Whatever I am doing tomorrow, I need to draw that awareness. I will check in with myself every 5 minutes. Where is my consciousness? Is it focused in the middle of my chest? Is it out there buzzing? In my mind, in my past, in my projections, into the future? Is my mind hunting, agitated, suspicious, doubtful? Or am I in my heart? And we're putting this forward to you to be your most important bit of quote-unquote spiritual work. Because of those increasing energies, dear one. Heart, now moment, and in non-resistance that you are here on earth. You're experiencing this point of consciousness as a human on earth, in a body. Don't resist any of these things. There are a lot of shiny toys out there, big stories, and keep pulling you into the psychology of fear, the old survival consciousness, the good guys, the bad guys, the true and the false, the right and the wrong. Drop into your heart, be fully present to what is manifest. Because your invitations to the party are already out. Your heart already has the guest list. Think of your heart as the great personal assistant of your consciousness that's already got your guest list for your best party ever. And when you focus in the heart, you're giving permission for the heart's guest list to go out and for them to be welcomed in. Relax the tension in your body again, dear ones. Remind yourself as you're anchoring in the heart, it's safe for me to anchor my heart. It's fun to anchor in the heart. The heart's already got the great party. And have some patience, don't editorialize constantly. Oh, well, it's not that great yet. This heart stuff might not be working. Boom, you're not in your heart still. My $1 million isn't here. The perfect job isn't here yet. This hard stuff mustn't be working. Why isn't it working? Perhaps there's something else going on. Maybe this isn't the right thing. You're not in your heart still. You're not fully present in the moment. You're not receiving what is. If you're judging, if you're saying, well, this really isn't that great yet. If you're resisting, you're not receiving. The heart's manifestation is something that you receive. Yes, you may take action to assist executing it, but you receive it as your experience. You receive the intuition that it's time to take an action. You receive the meeting with your beloved. You receive the abundance as it is coming into your bank account or into your sock drawer. You receive the perfect home arriving in your life. You don't analyze it into creation. You don't doubt, confusion, judge it into creation. You don't figure it out, or control it into creation. You receive it. And it's all coming for you, dear ones. You've been increasing the volume of energy that you can pull in. You've been increasing the range of frequencies available to you to manifest with. You've been increasing the amount of potentiality that you can hold into physical manifestation. And now you've got to relax and receive it. The minute something's feeling weird or off or wrong, check in. Am I anchored in my heart? Am I soft in my body? Am I receiving this moment, or am I moving into worry? Am I moving into rumination? Am I moving into judgment? Am I moving into negative projections? And even if you are, just stop, love and accept the part of you that's doing that. Receive that part of you. Have awareness, even having that conscious awareness is receiving that you are doing that, not just letting it run away unconsciously, not just getting into the over-analysis choo-choo train and letting it run away. When you have awareness, you are receiving your own thinking. You are receiving your own behavior. You are receiving what you're sort of putting out there. And even that moment of receiving that, you've got a wonderful opportunity. Oh, I'm going to receive even more. I've just received that I was getting really worried and fidgety about something I feel out of control of. Okay, well, I can receive that. I can love and accept the part of me that was doing that. And I can relax back into my heart, get into the heart. Soften tension. Get back into the now moment. Remind yourself that the whole world is on your side, actually. So even that thing that you're feeling worried about, if you think of all of the consciousness of everything, all of the consciousness of the earth, all of the consciousness of the non-physical realms supporting you, how big can that thing be in the face of all of that energy working with you and for everybody? But that power is accessed when you are in that volume of energy of the whole world being on your side, working with you and for you. That's a lot of energy. All the consciousness of the earth, the entire earth, working with you and for you. You must be anchored in your hearts to receive creative. Come back into your hearts, relax. Soften your bodies, go in. Look for more and more of those secret points of tension and resistance. And if your now moment experience is not everything you want it to be yet, you can focus on the parts of it that are the closest to what you think or imagine that you do desire, and receive that. Receive what does feel. Receive where there is well-being already around. Receive where there is safety, stability. Receive where there is abundance manifest. Even whether you think, yes, I see there's people out there who've got money, but I don't have money. Receive where there is abundance. Don't resist it. Don't put yourself in separation. Don't put those people that appear to have what you don't, quote unquote, have up on a pedestal or resent. Those feelings can be natural, but you're keeping yourself in separation if you keep banging the drum on them. Love and accept the part of you that may be doing that. But then receive their experience. Because it's the best way for you to come into resonation with that vibration, with that emanation, with that projection of abundance. If you are seeking great love, receive where you see it. Don't just receive it and say, oh yes, I know this wonderful couple, they're really fantastic, but I couldn't have what they're having because I'm blah, 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 blah. Just receive that it exists. Don't create the stories of why you're in separation. Receive that it exists. If you see somebody that is the embodiment of what you want to experience or achieve, have, or enjoy, don't let your mind get into all the reasons why it's happening to them and not you. Instead, just receive that it exists. If you're having awareness of obstacles to what you want, don't resist the energy in those obstacles. Just love and accept the part of you that is those obstacles and receive the energy of it. Allow yourself to experience it without continuing to engage in the psychological storytelling. Because all resistance, quote unquote, obstacles is still energy. And the energy in those quote unquote obstacles, when you receive it, may give you the biggest expansion you've ever experienced. Receive what we are sharing, dear ones. If our energy is strong, it is because you are inviting it. Your hearts are sending out the signals. Hey, circle of light. Get them focused now. Expansion is coming. More energy is coming. Expanded ranges of frequencies are coming. You've been inviting it. Anchor in the heart and receive. We adore you all so very much until we're meeting in this way or some other way. We love you very much, and for now we'll say goodbye, dear one. Goodbye.